Robocai has finally been added to Guilty Gear Strive. And of course, to literally no one's surprise, he is pretty weird. Not weird in the Oscar kind of way, where he's got a very interesting and unique gimmick. No, he's just a little bit funky. His tools are a little bit all over the place. His normals are a little bit shit. And his combo routes are surprisingly cool, honestly. I didn't expect that. But the weirdest thing about this guy is that he might be, like, kind of good. For a character that's basically supposed to be a joke, he's actually quite well designed and has the potential to absolutely pop off if given the right opportunity. So, let's talk about Robocai. The first thing you'll notice when you play Robocai is that he has a unique bar, like most of the characters in this game. This is his electricity gauge. Every time Robocai uses a special move, apart from one, he spends 20 electricity, which is shown by 2 of the blocks in the electricity gauge. Depending on how much electricity he has before he uses the special move will be in one of 3 different states. If the electric gauge is between 0 and 20, you will get a level 1 special, which generally sucks. They're pretty bad. Anywhere between 21 and 60 will get you a level 2, which is generally a standard special move that functions how you would expect it to. And finally, if it's over 61, you will get a level 3, which gives you a super empowered special move. You can tell at a quick glance what level you're going to be in by the color of the bar, as well as by how many tangerines are being shown. Yes, the tasty tangerines. The infinite supply of his energy. I don't have time for this. Robocai has 3 special moves that charge his electricity. The first one is the most obvious one and probably the one that you recognize. His 2-2-H, no, not his sweep, is Gimmicky. This places down a battery mat, which when stood on will charge Robocai's electricity gauge. You will get a maximum of 30 electricity over time. Once you get 30 or the mat's timer runs out, the mat will disappear. Fun thing to note, while you're in the mirror match, only the Robocai that placed down Gimmicky will be able to function with it. Another Robocai can't charge off of your battery mat, which kind of sucks if you ask me, but hey, it is what it is. This is just your general way to charge electricity when you don't have too many options. You can use it at full screen to make sure that you'll empower your projectile, or you can even use it in the middle of combos to make sure that your specials are even better. Speaking of projectiles, his 236S is Junky Bargain. This is a slow-moving projectile. Level 2 and Level 3 go full screen and slightly track the opponent. Level 1 only travels about half screen though, because it... You know, I heard they have, like, medication for that if you really need to get it fixed, buddy. That's kind of rough. Level 2 is just a pretty standard projectile, but Level 3 splits into multiple smaller projectiles, meaning that it ends up being plus on block, even at point blank. Funnily enough, considering how the tracking works, this move kind of sucks at full screen. It's really slow, and generally the tracking causes it to whiff if the opponent just jumps at some point. So you generally want to use it a little bit closer up or to counter zone. But funnily enough, the level 1 has a unique property where it always ends at around half screen, meaning if you TK it, you actually have a pretty decent way to stop people from running at you from full screen. It's really funny. You just watch them run up to you and you just bonk. You do need to be careful though because it is very negative on block. So maybe don't use level 1 as a safe on block ender, because it's not safe on block. Going back to charging your electric gauge, 214S is Kaizen Blitz. I'm going to hit you with my vehicle. Take this! This is a segue attack that has an automatic follow-up on hit. On block, it is very negative, so please don't use it as a pressure string unless you have Roman cancel, but it is very good to end a combo with. Level 1 and Level 2 increase the electric gauge on hit, giving you 30 points. Meaning that you end up being net positive after using it. Level 3 doesn't increase the electric gauge, but it does give you a hard knockdown, allowing you to go into either a mat set or a mix-up. Like I said, you'll mostly use it to end combos. You can also use it to extend with a Roman cancel afterwards, and you could get some pretty good combos that reliably increase the battery gauge by a lot. This right here is my go-to 0 to 80-ish battery gauge, with just a simple red Roman cancel in the middle of it. Very useful tool. And finally, the last special move that increases the electric gauge is half circle back kick, aka Sparky Surprise. This is a command grab that does a decent amount of damage, but also massively fills the electric gauge. The grab hitbox is really short, so you have to make sure that you are point blank in front of your opponent to make sure that it actually hits. The knockdown mid-screen is also kind of bad because it just sends them a little bit too far away, so you'll mostly be using this as a strike throw option in the corner, which is a trend that you're going to be hearing a little bit from now on. This is also the only special move that doesn't use any of the electricity gauge, not counting Matt, obviously. His 214H is Lucky Launcher, or as I like to call it, this is a close-hitting, potentially guard-crushing move. Level 2 and level 3 are plus on block, and cause the opponent to go flying on hit, making them really useful for combos. However, level 1 kind of sucks. It's negative 6 on block, doesn't guard crush, and also doesn't really send them flying. So you basically only want to use this special move when you actually have battery gauge. Like, even more than the other special moves. Honestly, when you have battery, this is kind of just your everything tool. And you'll be using it to get a lot of plus frames in the corner and mid-screen against the opponent, so you can then go for strike throw mix-ups. The block stun is actually just long enough where you're able to really get a true strike throw situation with your command grab. Assuming that they don't FD it, you'll want to use this tool a lot, so make sure to get used to it. And finally, his 236H is Beautiful Sky Today. This is a movement tool that puts Robocai in the air immediately from any move. Originally, when I saw this, I thought he might be able to get high-low mix-ups from it. If you do it on Oki, you kind of can, but generally, from a standstill, all your air normals are a little bit too fast-hitting, so you can't really make any of them whiff and immediately go into a low or a throw. However, it is very good on knockdown, since you're able to steer it left and right, meaning that you're able to get a left-right mix-up. Granted, only the level 2 and level 3 versions could be instantly cancelled, but this makes them extremely useful for combos and pressure that you otherwise normally wouldn't be able to get. People really like using this one as a combo tool. Personally, though, I really like using it as a shimmy tool. Since you're such a strike throw heavy character, if you can condition your opponent to try and tech a normal throw, or even try to 2k a shimmy attempt, you can pop this, go over their 2k, or make them whiff the throw, and then get an air counter hit starter. It's really good for that. Finally, we'll go on to his supers. His half circle back forward S is Risky Lovers. This is an install super where Robocai gets infinite energy. I hope you could hear the air quotes in that. When the battery gauge runs out, you blow up. The way it's supposed to work is that you're supposed to be able to access all of your level 3s at any time. Also, it doesn't deplete the battery gauge whenever you would use a special. However, it's generally more economical to be able to do routes that refill your battery gauge anyway. And like I said, this super makes you blow up at the end. The way the explosion works, though, isn't, oh, the timer's at 0, we immediately blow up. No, it's when you're next actionable, you blow up, meaning that players are able to set up situations if Robocai is in the install, where they get a cheeky hit, they delay the combo for long enough until Robocai explodes, he explodes, and then they get a new combo on him. It's probably going to be better in the future once people figure out unique level 3 only combos. However, right now, unless you can find a way to make sure that you stick them to the wall right before the explosion happens, it kind of sucks. And if you ask me, that's a good thing. This super shouldn't be good. A super where you blow yourself up should just be funny. And finally, half circle back forward H is what's useless will always be so. Well, we're just gonna get rid of the naming convention right at the end. This is your cash out damage super. Robocai starts fucking hitting you with Thousand Fists, JoJo reference, something like that. Pressing nothing will make it so that he slowly depletes the battery gauge for more hits. But if you press heavy slash, you're able to end it early, keeping some of the battery gauge if you don't think it's gonna kill. It's very good for ending around and just dumping a bunch of your meter. Fun fact, if both supers are actually activated, this doesn't deplete your battery gauge at all, letting you get the maximum amount of damage every time. And that's all of Robocai's specials. How does he play? Well, he's kind of like how he was in Plus R, sorta. He's a weird quote-quote Shoto that kind of needs to manage the electricity gauge in order to make sure that he actually functions as a character. It not being tied to tension this time does mean that he's able to function a little bit better as just a general character when he doesn't have battery. But in this game, he's much more strike throwy. Because of his 214H being so good, you kind of want to make sure that you loop that as much as possible. Then get the opponent in the corner and then either do a combo on them that refills the battery gauge, or get a command grab so you fill it even more so you can keep looping the sequence over and over again. It doesn't help that his normals are also... Let's go with a mixed bag? Well, better players than me would call them a mixed bag. I would simply call them shit. His 5H has potential as a decent poke, but everything else is really stubby or extremely committal. Funnily enough, his air normals are actually pretty decent, but his grounded normals are nothing to write home about. Okay, maybe that 5P is actually pretty good. It goes pretty decently far, but still. Robocai is a weird rushdown character who wants to loop the opponent with strikes and throws in order to beat the shit out of them. He has some really cool-looking combos. There's definitely a high skill ceiling to this character. But if you don't want to have the headache of constantly having to manage your battery gauge and try to find a line where you can get a bunch of it as soon as humanly possible while still outplaying your opponent, then maybe he's not for you. But if what I just said does sound interesting to you, then hey, go check him out. He's much more fun than I thought he was going to be. I actually kind of enjoyed my time with him. If you want to see me playing Robocai, then on the second channel, there's a video of me being in a Robocai-only tournament. And I did genuinely really well. So please go check that out. Thank you all for watching. Hopefully see you all next time.